Welcome to the Successful Life Podcast. I am your host, Corey Barrier, and I am here with Shawn Henry. And what's up, Shawn?
What's up, brother? How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. So Shawn's a fellow Arte brother, as you can see on his hat. Well, those of you that are listening, you will not see that. But anyway, you know by now what that means. So Shawn's got a pretty impressive story from what I have learned, which has not been much. He's pretty up and coming dude in the solar industry. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Man, we actually, Inc. Magazine just named us #1 in the state of Florida, privately owned, and #5 in the nation. And then we're the 179th fastest growing company in the United States right now.
I would say it's kind of impressive.
Yeah, man, we're cranking right now. We're kicking ass. You know what I mean? It's I call it a champagne problem, right? It's just one of those issues that, you're growing so quick. There's a lot of calamity, there's a lot going on, but when you're making the money that we are, we're growing and we're employing people that we are, it's the champagne problem to me. It's a good problem to have. It is extremely stressful though, because we've grown over 2,300% in the last 2 years.
Wow.
And dealing with the money that we're dealing with, it became extremely stressful. Cash flow purposes, because we have to carry every job. For those of you that are listening that are in construction, you guys know what I'm talking about. You got to carry the cash in almost every job, for 30 to 90 days before you even see any money. So
what does that mean? So educate me on I'm not in construction, so I don't know what that means. So educate me.
So, all right. So in the construction industry, whether you're in solar, roofing, you're a builder, you typically carry the project from front to end, right? In our industry, we deal with finance companies where, 90% of our homeowners, they'll finance the project. So we front all the material, the commission costs, the costs for the installers, rolling the vehicles, gas, insurance, yada, 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 for the life of the project, which usually we don't see our money from the finance company for anywhere from, 45 to 90 days, depending on how quick we get that job done. So if you're not calculated with that, you're not dialed in on your financials. That's why you see a lot of these construction companies that are fly by night, a lot of solar companies that are fly by night that go out of business because they're not good at managing their money. I used to be horrible at it, man, to be honest with you. There was a point we almost went out of business because we were mismanaging our money. We brought in a CFO, a business strategist, and ever since we've filled those two key roles with these two key people, we've been growing. Our cash flow has been amazing. And then also our profit margins, we've seen about a 33% margin go up since we brought in the business strategist, which I feel like that's one of the best moves that I've made so far as the founder and CEO of this company.
So Shawn, let's circle back for a second. So 2,300%, I can't even imagine. When a company grows 100% or 50%, they're excited.
Right.
2,300? I don't even know how you manage to keep everything, all the balls in the air, so to speak.
You know what it was? I think we just put a blindfold on and we were trying to hit that piñata and get the candy, but the blindfold stayed on. So we were just swinging. And eventually we busted the piñata and we got all the candy and we started figuring out who's doing what, who's getting what pieces. And, going through a growth phase like that, man, it's extremely stressful. And like I said, if you're not calculated and you're not prepared for it, it could put you out of business. Last year, we did $18 million. And there was a point last year that I thought we might've had to close the doors because we grew way too fast. Thank the Lord we didn't, praying every night and us all sticking together as a team and making it through is one of the most trying years of my life, but we made it through that point. And that's what's made 2019 so beautiful too, man. This year has been a great year for not only my business, but for my personal development, obviously with Arte.
Sure.
And then, I used to have extremely high blood pressure. This year, every time I go to the doctor, I'm normal now. I'm not living my life filled with stress. I'm more kind of living, fulfilling the stuff that I want to do and, running the company stress-free now, opposed to last year where it was like all hands on deck. The red light was flashing constantly. Alarms are going off, so it's been a great year this year, man, to say the least.
Congratulations, dude. That's fantastic. am shocked to hear that your blood pressure went down this year with the growth. So, I don't know how, no offense, I don't know how you would get excited other than the money about solar. So tell me how did you get into this? Or better yet, let's just go ahead and dive right into who the fuck you are, Shawn.
Man, well, Shawn Henry, for those of you that don't know me, I was born in Toronto, Ontario. I was raised by a single mother up until I was 9 years old. We met my stepdad, who was a professional hockey referee, right? I'm a kid. I'm growing up in Toronto. Hockey's obviously my favorite sport. My mom worked at the Marriott at the airport, met an NHL referee. They fell in love. He brought us to Florida. So I'm like living the dream, right? I got this rock star of a stepdad. He took me and my mom out of poverty. My mom, waited tables, to make ends meet. So we moved down to Florida. From the time I was 9 till I was about 15, everything was great, man. I mean, we lived a great life. We were above middle class a little bit, living in that kind of that area. We had a boat, we had a nice house in Florida. We had 3 cars, like just, a little more than average family. Then when I turned 16 years old, that's when everything started crashing down around me and in my life. My stepdad got caught cheating on my mom by the NHL. He ended up getting fired, lost his job. They ended up getting divorced. So this guy was such a pivotal role in my life because I loved him so much because he showed me how to be a man. He showed me, how to bring humor out and everything. So I really looked up to this guy. So when all this went down, I was heartbroken, man. I mean, I moved out after that happened and they were getting divorced. They were both trying to buy me whatever the fuck they could. Excuse my language. They were just trying to, immerse themselves with me and kind of make me sway sides. And I ended up moving out on my own at the age of 16 years old. When I did that, man, I thought I knew everything, man. I thought I was a grown man and I was going to be able to handle myself. Well, let's just say from the age of 16, I don't want to get into too many details, to the time I was 25, I've probably been arrested more times than, you can count on your hands because I was reckless. I was hanging out with the wrong people. I was doing the wrong stuff. So went through that portion of my life. 25 hit. I got sick of being in trouble constantly, man. I got sick of, going through life, wondering if, I'm going to be in jail, if I'm going to, be dead or get into a fight on the weekend or, yada, 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 kind of what little shitheads do, man. I didn't care about anything else except for wanting to be cool and wanting to run with my crew.
Just so you know, Shawn, you and I our stories are similar in that in and out of jail, and like I've had 3 DUIs and trafficking cocaine. So yeah, I get it. I get it.
So openly talk about it. Same thing, man. So I got a DUI. What changed my life was when I turned 25. I had been arrested with 17 felonies. Okay, they were all very serious. They were. I was in a car that had a lunchbox in it. It was my car. It wasn't my lunchbox, but it's my ar, and it had 10 Adderall and 7 Xanax in that lunchbox. I didn't know it was in my car. So I got pulled over. They ended up finding this lunchbox, putting it all on me. By the grace of God, at that time, my fiance, her best friend had prescriptions for these, and they were hers. It was my girlfriend's lunchbox. She wasn't in the car. I didn't know whose it was, but they pinned it on me. So thank God Logan went down there, showed her prescriptions, and they dropped all the charges. At that moment, I'd already been in trouble so much in my past. That was like that defining moment. That was like, fuck this. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to feel like this. I'm not that type of person. So I started working at Verizon. Found a mentor by the name of Cheyenne Jenkins. He owns the local area where I live. He owns about 40 Verizon stores. I was always a hustler my whole life, man. Always chased money. I've always been like that. This guy taught me how to be a leader. He taught me how to, empathize with people. He taught me not to lie. I think that's the biggest thing he's ever done for me is I always tell the truth no matter what. I'm a big believer in the truth shall set you free. No matter what you're doing, it just makes you feel better. If you take the last cupcake, tell the person, hey, who ate my last cupcake? I did. Even the other extreme. If I were to ever kill somebody, which I would never, but I'm one of those people, I'd have to get that off my conscience because I'm such a big believer in clearing my soul of just that negativity and that weighing me down on me and being like, what type of person am I? I'm the guy that's going to lie, or am I the guy that's going to keep it real with you and basically tell you what it is? You know what I mean?
Absolutely. So really quick, I was trying as you were talking, but as you said the Verizon thing, I was like, okay, so what age was it that I started working in wireless?
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say that I was probably 22. And so we're not far off. It's just ironic because now were they Verizon stores or was it an authorized agent?
It's an authorized agent from
Me too.
sales.
Yep.
They're absolutely amazing, to be honest with you. What I do now is I cross market with them. Me and Cheyenne still have a great relationship. And I'll get into that in a second. But what he did for me was he saw I was rough around the edges, right? I was like a street kid at this point, selling drugs and whatever I could. And he just saw something in me and he said, listen, man, he's like, you're a hustler. He's like, I want to turn you into a leader. He sent me to a Dale Carnegie high impact presentation course. That was an 18-week course that literally changed my life. You know, he put me in this course, and since that moment, I've never gone back from not being a leader. Like since my first class and going in there and being like, wow, I really love this. That started my self-growth journey, basically. And then how I got into solar from that was something happened at work one day at Verizon. I got in a argument, fight with somebody at one of the state fairs we were working. I wasn't feeling it anymore. I've been there for almost 8 years. I didn't get the promotion that I wanted, right? So I got all in my feelings, place, blah, 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 taking one of those, the route of, being the coward kind of, like, screw this. This is, this isn't my fault. I wasn't prepared for the interview. The guy that beat me out, everybody thought I was going to get the position. Everybody. If there was a voting scale, I would have gotten 99 out of the 100 votes. But what this guy did is he showed up. He had a business plan. He was prepared. He was ready to go. I showed up just with my pure talent thinking I was going to get the position. Well, guess what? I didn't get the position. So I went and started working for their solar company locally. This is about 7 years ago. They were doing everything the wrong way. They were screwing people over, lying to homeowners, falsifying savings. And at that point, I just, I liked what it was because you can help people, right? Like now we help people. Back then we weren't. We were screwing people over. So I'll never forget it. I was sitting in the last meeting I went to. The owner came down. He was a real jackass. And he started yelling at people. If you didn't know the script, he'd throw you out of the meeting. So I was like, man, screw this. If he calls on me, I didn't know the script, but I was their top sales rep, right? I was one of their top guys. So I said, if he calls on me, in my head, if he calls on me, he tries to rip me, I'm leaving. Sure as shit. Tried calling me out, tried making me feel stupid. I said, you know what, screw this, I'm out. I quit right there on the spot. As I was walking out, I was thinking in my head, I was like, if these guys can do this, I can do this and I can do it the right way. I just need to figure it out. Right. And I was privy to a little bit of information prior from the president of their company. We went out and had drinks one night. He told me like how they got qualified, like how to figure it out. And I was smart enough to say, okay, I'm going to put this in my back of my little piggy bank back here. And I went, man, and started Efficient Home Services of Florida. And it wasn't as glorious as everybody thinks it is now. Now we're doing about $30 million a year. My first 3 years, I failed miserably. I think at the end of my second year, I was negative $17,000 on my account. I almost quit. But man, I kept fighting, dude. I'm a Leo. If anybody, talk about your sign like a Leo is, we don't quit. We're very abrasive. We're very abrupt. And we're extremely driven. And, I went and I met this guy by the name of Andrew Wilson. Still to this day, we're very, very close. He owns a large tech company, very large. That's, they do all the back end stuff for ADT, Protect One, all the security companies. They do what's called the pass through, right? They communicate with the monitoring station to the homeowner's home. And it's kind of a little niche that he has. It's extremely smart. So I almost quit. I was like, you know what, screw this. I had a offer for $100,000, $110,000 a month or a year salary to go work for this guy, Jeff Knight, who's a local guy here who, I've known almost my whole life, very, very successful businessman where I'm from. And this guy, Andrew, pulled me aside and he's like, listen, man. He's like, listen, mate, he's Australian. He said, if business was easy, he's like, everybody would be doing it. He's like, you're not going to quit. He's like, you're on to something very big. He's like, here's a $3,000 check. Take this check, go open a new bank account. Okay. You can't close the other one. Eventually you're gonna have to pay that off. So when I did this, I took this money from this man I've only known one day. I met this guy one day and he wrote me a $3,000 check. And the crazy part about it, though, and I'll get back to the story, is we are exactly 10 years apart, born on the same day. And both of our mom's name is June.
What?
Fucking crazy, huh?
That's fucking crazy.
Odd name, right? And then we're both exactly 10 years apart, born on the same day. He's from Australia and I'm from Canada. So it was meant to be, right? It's just one of those things where the universe put this guy in my life for a reason.
100%.
So it's crazy, man. And he's such a cool dude, such a great guy. So I took that check. I went and deposited in Bank of America, who I bank with now, started that account. And then, man, all of a sudden, man, the universe started working for me. I got 3 phone calls for referrals from past customers that had people that we started with blown-in insulation, solar attic fans. We didn't do anything else. We didn't do solar at this point. So I think I made like 18 grand that week, right? I paid off I'm a big person. I don't have any debt. Nothing. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry. My internet said it was unstable, but it's back. Okay. So, went and paid off the other account. Then I went and I partnered with a local solar company called 3D Solar. They're still around town, but we're a lot larger than them now. So, partnered with them, and I was fulfilling about 80% of their sales, right? I had a great sales team, and they were allowing me to use their financing. So I think the first week when I started selling solar, with my company, we did like $125,000. And I got, back then, you could fund the money right away. Before the project was even done, I could click a button and all the money would come into my account. So that's what got me started, man. I faked it till I made it. I funded jobs prematurely, got my cash flow going to the $125,000, went and hired a door knocking team, went and got my, an office. And, now I think we started out of a closet 7 years ago, and now we have over 12,000 square feet of office warehouse. I got 4 other offices around the state. So it's like, and I'm a huge believer, man, like I'm not special. Like we talk about in Arate, like I'm just a hard worker. I got my GED, man. I didn't even really graduate high school. I went to college for 1 semester and all I did was sleep in class. You know what I mean? Like I'm a huge believer on just working hard and staying true to yourself, man. And, and believing in yourself. I mean, at the end of the day, if you don't believe in yourself, then you have no business being in business,
Very true. Very true.
So that's the short version, but that's, at the end of the day, man, it's been a hell of a journey, and I still haven't taken time to like really reflect on what I've built. Everybody's always like, man, you need to celebrate the victories. You need to take time and really reflect. I don't have time because we're still growing so much. Right.
Right. The time will come when you're able to do that. But right now, yeah, I get that. Do you ever feel burnt the fuck out? I mean, do you ever feel like, I mean, not really, why am I doing this? Because I know the why is that you're helping people, but you've grown so much. I mean, there's only 24 hours in a day.
Yeah. So between me and you, man, I went through a state of depression these last couple months, man. And I said, not between me and you and everybody listening.
God, that's so weird.
I was posting about it, and it just was crazy. I've never been depressed in my life, and I've been going through a lot, with the business, the growth, my personal life, going into Arte, coming back, not being able to conversate with my friends the same. Like it was just, and I'm such a big friend person. Like we have such a large group. We used to go out every weekend. I'm just not into that shit anymore. Right. I want to be successful. I want to grow this company, and I want to be in Forbes. I want to be an Entrepreneur Mag. I want to leave my footprint on the planet. And I was really going through some shit, man. Like I've never been to a point where it's just, I'd wake up every day and just, it hurt to get out of bed, or I'd, didn't want to take phone calls because I just didn't want to talk to anybody. I just wanted to be alone, or, I'd sit in my house. There was like 3 months in a row I didn't go out. My girlfriend would be like, what's wrong? I'd be like, I just don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to be around anybody. And it finally hit me. I'm just like, I'm fucking depressed, man. Like, is this what depression really is? Yeah. And, I talked to Andy about it when we were at the St. Louis event. We had lunch, and, kind of brought it up to him, and because I know he battles through the same stuff, and he just kind of clarified it for me, man. Like, it is a roller coaster. It's never just going to go away. You're always going to have your days and your moments, but you've got to break that cycle, right? It's always a cycle. When you get stuck in a rut, and if you can't break that, you're always going to be in that rut. So I had to find a way to break it, man. And, it was crazy. It was like 2.5 weeks ago. I woke up one morning. It was a Monday morning, and I just felt different. And it's because that weekend prior, I said, you know what? I'm going to go do what makes me happy this weekend. I'm not fucking working. I'm going to go do whatever. I don't even gamble. And I went to the fucking casino. Like, that's just something in my head. I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to go blow some money. Like, I'm just going to do things that I like, So I just started doing random stuff that I don't normally do that I thought would be fun. And I woke up on that Monday morning. I had clarity again. I was happy. Building my relationships back with my friends, because I kind of alienated them too. And just kind of was like, dude, like, you guys, they didn't understand what we go through. One, as entrepreneurs, they're your friends, but you don't spew all the negative shit on them all the time. It's always, that's not what they're there for. And, two, going to Arate and meeting all high level people and meeting people like yourself that, have a story, that understand business, that understand what it's like to want to grow into something more than just being a regular average person. That gave me hope. But then coming back to my friends and society back here, it was fucking tough, man. It still is a little tough, because one, I feel like some of them admitted to me that they felt a little bit intimidated by the whole Arate crew.
Okay.
Right?
That makes sense.
They felt like they were losing me as a friend, and they didn't know how to speak on that. And then at the same time, I was kicking them out of my life because I felt like I had to in order to be successful, which that's not the case. Right? If anybody's listening and you're in Arate and you're going through that roller coaster where you're like, I got to get these people out of my life and they've been your friends since you were kids, there's a happy medium that you guys can meet at. It's not, you don't have to just kick them out of your life. Now, if they're negative people and there's all the time, they're just putting shit on you and they're bringing you down, they're having you make bad decisions, then those are the ones that have to go. But if it's just you in your head like I was, man, I could have saved myself a lot of heartache, and I probably wouldn't have been as depressed if I would have just realized that in the beginning and realized that I don't have to get rid of these guys. They may not want the same stuff I do, right? They probably don't, or they do, or they just may not have what it takes, I don't.
Look, I mean, you said something super important there. I think that, and I'm speaking from my own experience. It's fairly ironic how the two of us are so similar in parts of our lives. I went through, and I didn't realize, Shawn, I didn't realize that's what I was going. I didn't realize it was depression, because I mean, I've dealt with depression a long time ago, but it's been so long, and I don't know if you know my whole story, but I'll give you just a quick idea. I sold my hormone replacement clinic last October, or my part of it, and it's a longer story than that. My partner and I had a split. It was terrible. Whatever. It was supposed to happen, and so this whole year I've been working on myself. But during that year, this last year, same situation, a mild depression, until I went to St. Louis. And once I went to St. Louis, I made a decision that weekend that I was going to change, that I was going to have no expectations. And now my life has completely turned around because I let go.
You just said the exact thing that the whole conversation that I should have said is setting the expectations for other people and on yourself. I feel like puts you in a state of depression, because if they don't execute on your expectations, it makes you feel some sort of way, right? If you don't execute on your expectations, it makes you feel some sort of way about yourself. And I think, you saying that, I think that's what I was going through. I'd set these expectations for these guys and they wouldn't follow through. But that's not what they want, right? That's what I wanted for them. Sure. So just hearing you say that, man, that is what it's about. And, I feel like I'm getting better at that, is not setting the expectations for other people except for myself. And maybe that's why I've come out of that state of depression as well. But another thing is, I made a post, right? And I'm going to read this to you.
Please do.
On Instagram, I really put myself out there when I was going through this, because I felt like, so many people look at guys like me and you and other highly successful people and probably think like, damn, these guys got it all, right? Why is he sad? Why is he depressed? Well, people understand we deal with a lot of shit, right? People just don't know about it. They may see posts and cool shit, or I have cool cars, or I have, you know, jewelry, or I have a nice house. Like, all that's just material things. That's nothing of substance to me that fulfills me, right? That is just, that's stuff that makes me happy for a short amount of time. And then, you know, eventually that happiness goes away, and then I got to buy something else to make me happy. Right. So me and you talked about this. You just said it about, you know, depression, and you don't know that you were depressed. Right. And here I said, all right, when I started it, I said, I suffer from depression. By looking at the picture above, and it's one of the pictures I posted, it's actually my picture on Instagram, you would never guess. And this is the exact picture has taught me that depression can wear many masks, right? You never know who's depressed. You don't know who's going through what. Me and you could walk around with smiles on our face all day and see each other in public, but behind closed doors, I could be putting a gun to my head every, you know, 45 minutes and, you know, crying, and you know what I mean? Like, people just don't know. You know, and since I've gone through that, my depression state, I'm very, very, I want to say I'm more, I don't want to say friendly, because I'm just a naturally friendly dude, but I'm more open with people now when I have conversations. I'm not so standoffish, right? Before, I'd be that guy that if I didn't know you, I wouldn't really talk to you. Now I want to get to know people more, because I want to try to impact people that may seem happy, but low key could be extremely depressed, man. You know, I mean, there's probably people that we have conversations with on a daily or phone calls, even some of the Arte people, people don't want to talk about it because it makes them seem weak.
You're right. And you know what? This is the thing. You know, when you say hello to that person that you don't know, that hello could be the one thing that changes that depression for them.
That's it.
You know what I mean? I mean, or that conversation that follows that hello. You just never know what kind of impact you can have on somebody, because, like you said, you don't know what they're going through.
I feel like, you know, and that's something I've been battling as I'm growing into a leader too, is being more cautious about what comes out of my mouth around certain people, or how I, you know, speak to somebody, or how I shake their hand, or if I'm in a group setting, or, you know, I have 100 employees. You know, there is times where I've walked in and I've treated people differently from one person to somebody that's standing right next to them. And that's not right. And that's something that as a leader, I'm getting better at. You know what I mean? Like, I have my sales reps, I have people at my call center here, I have all my installers out of here. And there is times where I, you know, I'll favor my sales guys because they bring in the money. But then I don't think, well, they wouldn't be out selling if my call center didn't set the leads. And then I wouldn't be getting paid if my installers didn't go out and finish the projects. Right. So, you know, it just takes me sometimes to reflect. And sometimes I get out of that mode of reflection where it's like, I'm so stuck in the moment, and I'm, you know, being nice to one person, but then I always catch myself. And I try to make it right. But, you know, I'm still on that journey, man. I'm still trying to figure out, you know, not only who I am, but what I'm meant, like, why am I here? Like, what is my bigger purpose? What's my purpose? You know, am I here just to run a solar company and employ people and help people create jobs? Or am I here to change the world? Am I here to put a footprint? You know, I'm still battling that. And it's, I feel like it comes with time. You know, I know Andy all of a sudden just one day didn't wake up when he first started, you know, supplement company and say, you know, I'm going to change the world. I'm going to motivate all these people and speak the truth, and, you know, kind of change how society thinks and feels and all this. You know, he grew into that over time. And I feel like that's what I'm doing. And I think he's given all of us in Arte a bigger purpose, and seeing like, okay, business just isn't it. This isn't it for all of us. We're in a movement right now, and we're going to continue this movement. We're going to do it all together, and we have all our brothers and sisters. And it's fucking badass, man. It's the coolest thing I've ever been a part of, and I'm honored to be a part of it. I'm honored to even be sitting here and speaking to you about it. Like, you know,
Dude, it's my pleasure. So you said something interesting, or actually you made me think of something interesting when you just said, I don't know what you said, but anyway, when you mentioned something about Andy. And so Andy had said, I was listening to the end of the podcast today of the first one.
Yeah.
And he said, you know, from 3 years ago, I've changed. He said, I'm not the same person. And what's interesting about that is that last night I was watching. So I've been sober for over 10 years, right? And so I'm starting this with another lady, a friend of mine. We're starting a recovery thing online, and so I was watching a video about infinite intelligence. When I say that, do you know what that means?
No. Well, infinite intelligence meaning continuously growing your mind and becoming more intelligent, or is it?
Well, so right, so that's actually what I just assume. I actually didn't know what the hell it was, to be honest with you, and I've heard the words many times. But what it is it's an idea that or people the infinite intelligence is God, whatever you want to call it, universe is one, and we're all, oh fuck, I'm gonna mess this up. But essentially, the way I could tie it in is Andy saying what he said, that he changed from 3 years ago. He's not the same person. It's kind of like infinite intelligence to an extent. I didn't explain it very well. I probably should watch the video again. But essentially, it's how people perceive themselves as God. Not like I'm holier than thou, but if God is one and one is God, I'm part of that one.
Yes, I get it.
Okay. Hopefully that made sense to everybody who's listening anyway. So,
Google it.
yeah, so the point is, I think that's exactly what Andy was saying,
Yeah.
is that, when he said, I've changed, we all change and we all evolve and we all grow. And that's the point, right?
That is true, man. Because you got to think like so. On our first summit, we saw Dr. Joe Spinanza speak, and what really caught me about his speech was, your mindset and changing your mind and forward thinking and visualizing what you want out of life, and it started happening for you, right? And it got me thinking. He spoke on, when you were a kid, no one taught you how to fucking unscrew a water bottle and screw it back on. Your mind, you just train yourself, and you train and train and train, and then take it into everything that you do, right? Everything in life, you evolve every day. I even find myself, as the older I get wiser every year. And wisdom comes with age, obviously. And I feel like that's, what Andy's speaking about. But you can also fast track that with, your reading, your self growth, your, putting yourself in uncomfortable situations. Like, I'm a very introverted person. People that meet me, they're like, "You're an introvert." I'm like, "Fuck yeah, I don't like being out in public. I don't like being around people." Between me and you, Corey, I don't like people. I really, truly don't. I tell my girlfriend all the time. She's like, "Why? Why you're so polite to everybody?" I'm like, "Yeah, because that's a reflection of me. Because I love myself, and I'm going to portray myself as who I want people to be to me. And everybody's not like that, right? I
Yes.
fucking still to this day, if people don't hold the door open for me, I get pissed. I say something I can't help it. I can't help it because I'm that person. I'll hold the door for a couple minutes. If I see you coming, hey, I got the door for you, And then there's people that don't say thank you. You got to say it. Like,
Yeah.
hey,
I agree, dude. I agree. It's like, Nabavi with the shopping cart, he did the
I
whole
love that.
me too. I
Love it.
100%.
You know what? I've been doing that for years. I'd always put people's carts back, or I would go, and if I saw a cart set in the parking lot, I'd bring it up. It's not even my cart. That's just who I am as a person. So when he came out with that, that really hit home for me, and I thought that was amazing. Shout out to you, Brian. I mean, you caused a movement with that, and still to this day. I mean, even some of my friends, they'll even be like, "Oh, look, I'm putting the cart back." So this it didn't just touch me, but now I got to reflect. I got my friends, taking what he did and saw me do it. Now they're putting carts back, and it was cool to see, man. But that is true. I mean, how you do one thing is how you do everything.
Totally true. And when he said that, and he was like, "Look, if you don't wipe the piss off the seat,
Yep.
you're going to do everything like that." And one day I almost walked away without wiping the piss off the seat. And I'm like, fuck, dude, it takes 2 seconds.
Yep. That, or even just putting your napkin in the trash can, putting whatever you miss the trash can. Like,
Yeah.
I'm doing that here in my office. So we had a situation last week where there's this in the men's bathroom on the toilet seat. I was fucking pissed, to say the least, because it's like we just had to talk about it the week prior. This is a dedicated men's room. So how, as a man, are we not putting the seat up to take a leak in the men's room? And if you do, are you that ignorant to not wipe it off? And it was a big deal. I ended up writing a kid up, and it was, he got upset with me because I embarrassed him in front of the whole building, because I wanted it to be known, like, this is not acceptable here. We pick up after ourselves. We're going to wipe the piss off of the toilet seat. If you miss putting the napkin in the trash can, go pick it up. If you see somebody that didn't do it, go pick their mess up too. Is that's the type of person we need those types of people in society right now.
So bad. So bad.
And then, the whole Peloton thing, when Andy was talking about that really opened my eyes.
So I actually don't, I saw Amanda post about it, but I didn't see what Andy posted. What the hell happened?
Okay. So to me, he's 100% correct, because people are getting soft. Okay. So there was an ad that Peloton put out where it's a Christmas ad. The wife or the husband got the wife a Peloton for Christmas. And he said, I just want you to be healthy. I want you to lose some weight. I don't find anything wrong with that.
Nope.
I went to my girlfriend and said, hey, babe, here's a Peloton. I just want you to be in shape and healthy. She'd be like, oh, I fucking love you. Like, thank you. We can do this together.
Right.
But what happened was society and the soft ass people and everybody that was opinionated and the masses and the people that don't do shit with their lives, that have the time to just berate companies on social media and don't, they want to be up in everybody's business. They cost Peloton over $1.5 billion overnight.
What the fuck?
Peloton, because of that ad, lost $1.5 billion overnight, over just that ad. It wasn't an ad of, a colored man coming in and stealing the Peloton and blah, blah, blah. Like, that's something would be extremely offensive. Or look what I'm getting my family for Christmas.
Right.
Or, somebody running a school bus, a kid, or, maybe having an overweight kid and a teacher being like, I don't even know.
Hey, fat ass, you need to get on a bike. Like that,
or,
I could get that. But
you know what I mean? But it was simply a husband and a wife that wanted to be healthy, wanted to be healthier. And, people took that ad and just ran with it. And honestly, what Andy speaks about, and I didn't even really think about this till he said it, 1 out of those, or 5 out of those 6 people that bashed Peloton probably don't really truly feel that way. Right?
Agreed.
They probably don't. They probably have that one friend in the group that's like, the leader of the group that may be opinionated, and they're like, oh, do you believe Peloton did this? Look at this. And that person's like, yeah, fuck them. Yeah, let's get online and rip them. Like, they just jumped on Peloton, and it's a shame, because that $1.5 billion, what these people don't understand, 1, that's hurting our economy. 2, people are going to lose jobs.
Lots of jobs.
Like, that's a lot of jobs. It's around Christmas time. Like, and I guarantee if you went to those people and we said, would you have written that if you would have known that, Susie and Mike and their family would struggle through Christmas because you had an opinion on a fucking stupid video and decided to bash this company, and they lost all this money and had to lay people off? They probably wouldn't do it at that point. But since everybody's, keyboard tough guys these days, and everybody's so opinionated, I mean, they kind of bash the company. Thank God Peloton's strong enough to make a comeback, and their stock's going back up. But at the end of the day, man, I mean, it's kind of sad to see that, it's everything's so sensitive. You have to watch everything you say now, and that's something, after seeing what happened to Peloton with my growth, I was thinking the other night, I was like, damn, I've said some offensive stuff, or I do offensive things because I live my life how I want to live it, that damn, some people could do this to me one day. So I do need to be more careful, and that's unfortunate, because I feel like we should just be able to live our lives and be who we are. But society nowadays, they don't allow you to do that. Well, they actually, know what, I take that back. They do and they don't, right? You have people like me and you that we can put our story out there and it resonates with other people. But I guarantee you that post that I posted about me being depressed, and I even posted one about me being in trouble at some point, getting arrested. Like, I'm sure people read that and are like, this guy's a piece of shit, or I can't believe he would do that. Or, like, I've even had a customer before pull up my record and send it to me and say, this is why I'm not doing business with you. You know how that made me feel? And they don't, like, that hurt. Like, that to me is like, damn, like, I'm a good dude. I donate 10 grand to All Children's Hospital every quarter. I feed the homeless on Thanksgiving and Christmas morning. Every year, I go out of my way to take time away from my family, my friends, and I go and feed the homeless. And then I get shit on because I have a past. You know what I mean? So stuff like that, I wish society was more open, instead of right away just judging people on, stuff on paper, instead of actually meeting that person and truly seeing who they are, because everybody makes mistakes.
I feel like it's changing though, right? I feel like first of all, it gave me goosebumps when you said that he pulled your record up because that to me, I can completely identify because I have a felony and it says all clear as day, trafficking cocaine. So like I might as well have on there that I shot a bunch of kids. Like it's people equate it as the same thing, but I can't fathom somebody. Yeah, I can't. I know exactly how you felt because when you said it, I was like, "Fuck, that's like the worst thing possibly." I feel like that's probably one of the worst things that somebody could do because they're assassinating your character without even knowing you.
That's it. So I'm a big character person, man. I like Andy said, he hires and fires on character. I'm the same way. I will tolerate a lot. I can tolerate, mostly anything that people say about me as long as it's not a character issue because I'm a stand-up guy. I believe in doing what's right all the time. So when that happened, man, that was like a real kick in the nuts, man. That to me kind of was like, damn, like this person doesn't even know me. You're just reading what you see on paper. You don't even know the situations, which, yeah, at the end of the day, they were my fault. I put myself in that situation 100%.
Right.
I don't shy away from that. Even if it wasn't my fault, if it wasn't my lunchbox, I was still there. I was still, I owned it. I own it. And then also, I've also had like prior my ex-girlfriend, the girlfriend I have now, I'm going to end up marrying this girl. I've already asked her parents if I could marry her. They said, yes, they're absolutely amazing family. I'm very blessed to have such an amazing person in my life. My girlfriend before this though, her parents looked at my record, in the middle of a dinner conversation. And I had to explain that. And I was so used to it at this point because, getting into business and then I had to go, I got a couple $1 million line of credit from a bank. I had to go explain my record. And the coolest part though, and the difference between the two is when I explained it to my ex-girlfriend's parents, they were judgmental as shit, right? They live in like little fairyland. Like, swear to God, these people live in like the Princess Diana castle. Like nothing bad could ever happen to us. The bankers, they fucking loved it, dude. They said, man, for you to tell this story and be open with us like this says a lot about you. And they approved me for a $2 million line of credit right there on the spot just because of the relationship I built with these guys, right? So, I'm a big believer in telling the story. I just, like we're just talking about with society, though, you're going to have your people that are going to understand it. And then they're going to say, man, this guy's a real stand-up dude. Look at what he's done. Look at the changes he's made. Then you're going to have some people that are going to be like, oh, we need to stay the fuck away from him. Once a bad person, you're always a bad person, or, whatever. I mean, just because we get in trouble doesn't make us bad people. It just means that we had, I feel like, stupid lapses in our life where we weren't clearly thinking and we just got caught up in situations and, we wanted to live a life at that time, maybe that was an easy life for us, where now it's like, I want to live a hard life. Like, if that makes any sense, like I love the pressure of business. I love being the go-to. Oh, we just got a 5-star review. I like being, yeah, dude, we're crushing it right now. I love being, the go-to for the company. I love the pressure. I like building, and then also getting over the fear of having that record and just knowing now, like I'm at peace with it. If somebody brings it up now that I've already dealt with all this shit, I'd probably tell you to go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
No.
It's so funny. My ex-wife, her parents did the same fucking thing. That bitch went, excuse me, I shouldn't really say that, meaning that it was her stepmom, but she went and dug up things that I had posted on the internet from like 10 years ago. And it's like, really?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
I was a kid, basically.
Right. Like, it was stupid.
Did you know that Kevin Hart couldn't do the Oscars this year? He was supposed to do the Oscars because of something he posted 13 years ago, because he made a comment about transgender people 13 years ago. So the Oscars pulled him out of doing the awards this year.
You've got to be kidding me.
That's how sensitive society has gotten. I thought it was going to be less sensitive with more of the transgender stuff coming out, more of the openly gay marriage, I feel like the racism stuff, I feel like we're starting to get past that, right? Like, I feel like we're starting to get past, again, I mean, because the last 2 years, let's be honest, there was more racial hardships in the United States. And I feel like there had been in the last 20 years because of the police shootings and, all that other shit we were dealing with. And now I feel like we're starting to come out of that again. And then now it's back to society being sensitive over fucking a husband telling his wife she needs to ride a Peloton bike,
It's
right? Like
ridiculous.
bigger stuff to worry about than, you know, hurting your wife or your girlfriend's feelings, or not even hurting their feelings, but recommending them, hey, I want you to be healthy. Like,
Right.
what is that, you know?
You know, this day and time, like people, I feel like as a whole, I think, or at least the people that we deal with, they want to be healthy. Like nobody that we deal with would find that offensive. But I guess if we take, I guess I have to remove myself out of the box, so to speak, that I'm in, of the people that I surround myself with, and look at the masses. And the masses don't give a fuck if they're fat or not.
They don't. They don't. And the masses, you know, the masses are, like I was saying earlier, they're the people that don't have shit going on, that have the time to jump on people and to create the negativity. And you know, I don't know, I made a post about it the other day that's like, I don't have time to do that. I
No,
literally, I've never gone on another man's post or a woman's post or a company's post, even on Facebook, the news post. I don't go on there and waste my time and write shit, because why? I don't have time. It's none of my business too.
I
It's none.
agree.
It's none. It really isn't. I don't. You know, God, if I had to worry about what everybody else was doing, I'd go crazy. You know.
Agreed. Yeah, dude,
But
I
man,
have to.
it's just
I was just gonna say, I struggle finding time just to do my normal business posts on Instagram, much less do a post about somebody, about a, you know, I just, like you said, I don't have time to dip my nose in other people's shit because one, for two reasons. One, I don't have the time. And two, I just don't give a shit. I don't care what, like, for the most part, unless you're in my circle or the RT group, I don't care what you're doing. Like, do your thing. I don't care.
yep.
Leave me the fuck out of it. But that's just
I
me.
agree, man. And that's like, I feel like most RTA people are like that. I don't see anybody else jumping on anybody else's bullshit and ripping somebody else, or you know, we mind our own business, and that's probably why we are in RTA. Is, you know, we care about who's in this group. We care about the messages that we're putting out. You know, my message is a lot different from other people in RTA. You know, I'm more like an Andy. Like, I don't put up with shit. I don't make excuses. I'm very um, rough around the edges, I guess you could say. And I don't deal with drama or, you know, people getting in their feelings. Like, I was raised like that, you know. And then you have other people that are very methodical and very uplifting, where I'm not as much uplifting. I'm just going to tell you how it is from my
Sure.
experiences, you know.
But listen,
So,
you
you
say
know,
that you're rough around the edges, but yet you give to charities once a quarter. You feed families on Thanksgiving. You feed families at Christmas. I mean, I would say that part of that rough around the edges part is not exactly there anymore. Maybe some of it.
yeah, I agree. I feel like when I say rough around the edges, I think my messages that I put out, because I am very, like, if I get on something, I'm I'm on there, I'm typing, you know, like, I'm gonna send out a post today. I have a pre-planned post. It's a naked baby picture. I'm holding this bucket, and it's labeled, "Do you find this offensive?" Right? And then I go on this rant of, you know, how soft society is these days, and how this was the normal when I was growing up. Is my parents would take naked pictures of us, and you know, you go over to your ex-girlfriend's house, or you have your girlfriend come over when you're a kid, and you'd be like, "Do you want to see pictures of my, look at Shawn in the bathtub?" You know what I mean? Nowadays, nowadays you get judged if you do some shit like that.
Fuck, you may go to jail.
You know, so it's just like, to me, man, it's gotten a little soft. But you know, I make sure my messages always come from, you know, me and my experiences. I know I have some friends that are influencers, and between me and you, man, their messages are fake and they're bullshit. I'll even call them out and even tell them, like, I got an argument with one last week, and he's a good friend of mine, and I'm arguing about the content he's putting on. I'm like, "But you didn't live like that." And he's like, "Well, I did it." I'm like, "No, you didn't." I was like, "You weren't fucking cleaning toilets at Gold's Gym like it was your full-time job, and you were homeless. Your mom's a fucking millionaire." Like, it really pissed me off. Like, bro, my mom works in my call center, legit. You know, and like, I'll never say, I just told you, you know, my years from when I was 10 and 16 were fucking great. When I was a kid, they weren't so good. And then after 16 years old, man, I went through it, but I put myself there, right?
For sure.
You have these influencers that speak these lies and this bullshit that is not true. And that to me is the worst thing you can do, not only for society, but also for yourself, because those types of people, they get stuck in those stories and then they truly start believing that, but that's not really who they are.
Well,
You know what I
this okay. So all right. So to this exact point, Shawn, when does it? When are the people going to find that? When are people going to find out? Because they are going to find out. I mean, all you could do is Google somebody's shit these days, and you can find out anything about them. Why would you? Why would you portray I'm this when you know damn well you had nothing to? You weren't that at all. You're going to be found out. It's called incongruency. If I'm telling you something that's not true, my face will tell you it's not true.
I'm like you, man. I can't even lie. I can't. Like, I'm just one of those. Like, I don't even have it. I don't know, man. But people like that, it's. But those are the same types of people. Like, and this person I'm speaking of is also, he provides a service. And in this conversation, I told him, I was like, he's asking me how to scale his business. I said, well, it's going to be tough for you to scale your business. He said, well, why? I was like, you're providing a service. And he's like, well, what does that have to do with anything? I was like, well, 100,000 other people provide the same service. And I'm starting to see a trend where people are undercutting. When you're providing a service and you don't have a product, that is extremely tough to scale, because I could go start a company and say, hey, he's charging $500. I'll give you the same results for 400. And then Susie's going to start a company and say, hey, he's charging you 400. I'll charge you 300 and give you the same results. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to me, and he got extremely offended with what I said, and we haven't talked since. But dude, I'm keeping it real with you. You wanted my opinion. I'm telling you how I feel about it. You got to go. If you want to be a millionaire, that's his thing. He wants to be a millionaire. He wants to be rich. Well, if you do, you got to go a different route, because you're never going to do that doing what he's doing now. And but people like that, they don't like to hear the truth. The ones that are fake about who they are, they don't like to even hear the truth when it even comes from a friend or an outsider looking in. You know what I mean? It's because they aren't real on the inside with themselves. And, they have to live with that though, too. At the end of the day, if they know I couldn't do that. I mean, that's a whole nother level of, I don't want to call them a psychopath, but kind of, they just get stuck in their fucking head and they believe their own lies. And then next thing you know, they think they're somebody else. And, I mean, I don't think you can fix people like that.
I don't. Yeah, dude. I really don't. As you're telling me the story, I don't know either, because if they're already buying their own bullshit, then who the fuck is going to convince them any different?
Nobody. If you can't convince yourself of it, then nobody can convince you of it, man. We have a couple hundred customers a month we deal with, and I see it every day with my service team. Is you can't fix it. At the end of the day, you can beat a dead horse, and you can tell these people the same thing over and over and over and show them the facts and the truths and everything behind it. And they're still, well, that's not right. That's not what I was told. And it's just like, those are the types of people all right, man, you're right. Like, you're right. I'm not even going to argue with you. And I'm one of those guys. Like, I'll prove a point. And then when they're like, oh, no, I'm like, all right, well, the argument's done then. You know what? You know it all. That's fine. So you got to pick and choose your battles, my man.
For sure. So, all right, well, let's go ahead and wrap up. Shawn, what would you say to somebody or the audience if they're going through that mild depression? What's something that you could maybe think of that would maybe snap them out of it? What can they do, somebody, whoever they are listening, if you could have told yourself something in that mild depression that you went through that would have changed the game, what would it be?
There's a couple things I would have done. One, I would have taken my fitness a lot more serious. I feel like when I'm eating healthy and I'm going to the gym regularly and I'm doing my cardio at night, that kind of makes me feel better about myself and my body, right? And this has a lot to do with it. People don't understand that. Is when you feel good about yourself and your muscles are tight and you're working out and you're eating good and you're making progress, it does something to your mind. Two, do what makes you happy, right? Do stuff, not what normally makes you happy in that instance, what you've been doing your whole life. Find other things you've been wanting to do and go fucking do them. Don't wait for anybody else. Just go do it. Go take some time for yourself and, and just kind of not beat yourself up over being depressed. I did that because I knew I was in a state of depression. I was like, God, I would always say to my girlfriend, I was like, I got to get out of this. And she'd be like, how can I help you? I said, I don't need help. But maybe that's
Mm.
what you did, right? I
Yeah.
really think that if I would have been like, babe, I need help. I like, can I go speak to somebody? Can I do this? I didn't. I was playing the tough guy role. And, you know, it took me finally breaking down. I haven't cried in probably 10 years. It took me breaking down finally, just like crying to her and just being like, you know, like, fuck, like, I need this. I need to snap out of this. And she goes, well, you know, what can I do? And I said, just support me, you know, keep me in line. Don't let me eat like shit. Make sure I'm going to the gym. Make sure I'm reading at night. Make sure I'm completing all my tasks. Because what I was doing when I was depressed, I was using that as an excuse not to push forward.
Mm.
Every day, I swear to God, I'd come in and, you know, I'd have to go over our financials, or I'd have to do this, and I'd push it off a day or two, or do this or do that. And then I'd go to my CFO and I'd be like, listen, I'm sorry, I'm just depressed. Well, they don't give a fuck about that. They care
Right.
about getting the job done so we can move the company forward, you know? So my biggest thing is, if you're going through that, don't let depression be your excuse of being depressed, right? Figure a way out of it. Everybody's way is different, but I would definitely start with fitness and eating healthy, because I'm telling you, I think that's when I stopped eating pizza, and I stopped eating the cheeseburgers and ordering Uber Eats every night when I was in that state of depression. I said, you know what? I'm waking up tomorrow. I'm going to the gym. I'm going to start meal prepping. That week before, that was like, okay, I was still depressed a little bit, but then that Monday I woke up, I feel like that stuff started triggering that, right? I was feeling better about myself. You know, my gut went down a little bit, and then, you know, I went out that weekend, did a few things that I truly enjoyed, and you know, I'm back to being me now. You know, it takes a while though, man. It's a process. It's, you know, I'm about 90% back to being myself. Not 100%. I mean, I think everybody knows when I'm posting on Instagram and I'm, you know, showing my stuff and I'm speaking in the mornings, I'm doing my walks. That's when I'm fully back, man. And, you know, it was just a dark spot. Everybody goes through them, you know what I mean? And that's why I got guys like you where we can have these conversations, man. And, you know, if you ever see me, or if I ever see you and you go rogue, I'll be calling you and be checking up on you as well. You know what I mean?
Damn straight. And likewise, dude. Absolutely. It's wonderful to be around people that do understand, you know, the thoughts that go through my head. Because they're the same shit that goes through your head. It's fucking cool as shit. It really is.
The best part about it, about being an artist, is having people that you can have open conversations like this with. Because if I go to my friends and have this conversation, it's like that's not a big deal.
Right.
When you've lived it, right? A
For
lot of these
sure.
art people, they have lived this life, because we are all entrepreneurs at one point in time, you know. So that's what comes with being an entrepreneur and being in business, is there is a side of depression. I don't give a fuck. Donald Trump is probably one of the most pivotal uh, influencers on the planet right now, because he's the president of the United States, right? But I guarantee you, he seems like he has it all. I guarantee you, he goes through depression. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? He does. He has to. You also have, you know, some of these, LeBron James, one of the best athlete in the world. I guarantee you, he acts like, you know, media doesn't bother him. I guarantee you, stuff that people say bothers him. And I bet you it did for a while, but he didn't come out and be like, you guys are depressing me, because then he'd be weak, right? And
Right.
people would judge him for being weak, and he's not a leader. So it's just, man, it's just, you know, being able to speak about it and being open about it to the right people can also help too. I mean, I feel like, you know, being able to speak about it and getting it out, and then realizing like, damn, like that felt good. Like when I cried, I'm telling you, man, like it felt fucking good, dude. I've
Yeah.
been so long, and I know it's the weak thing to do, but bro, it felt like the biggest weight got off my shoulders. Like, damn, I've been needing to get that out for years, whether it's some issues I had from maybe my parents getting divorced, or issues I had with an ex-girlfriend, or maybe issues I had within business that I didn't know were really affecting me. Like, you know, just getting that out and getting that off your back and moving forward has really helped me, you know.
Yeah.
And if anybody's listening, and, you know, my Instagram's at Shawn Henry EHS. If anybody's depressed, or you guys are ever going through it, man, hit me up. Go read some of my posts. I mean, it kind of explains my one that I posted. I'll repost today some stuff that I went through and things that I felt, and you know, what really helped me was the self growth and getting back into the gym, and you know, kind of keeping that level head. And what I always tell people, and I'll finish with this, is, you know, I've been up here before, right, where I thought I was the man, which I'm not. I'm not even close to being successful, where I'd go out every night and then I'm the man in my local town. And then, you know, I've been at rock bottom. And now I just want to stay in the middle. I don't want to be I don't want to be up here anymore. I don't want to be down here. I just want to be right in the middle, and I just want to stay there.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Mentally,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. All right, my man. Well, Shawn, thank you so much, dude. I have thoroughly enjoyed this conversation, and I look forward to many more in the future.
I appreciate it, Corey, man. Thanks for having me, brother. And I'll reach out to you this week, man. Check up on you, and let's keep kicking ass.
Cool, man. Thank you, brother. I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah.
All right. Later, brother.